A plus tutoring services. And before we move on, you need to join A plus students.com. And since you are opting for math, you need to join math for your grade level, that is grade 4. Okay, and the topic that we'll be studying today is multiplying by numbers ending in 0. Okay, so this is what we need to do today. This is our topic. Let's start off with the first question and let's see. Okay, okay. The question number 1 says, a school owns 70 buses. Okay, there are 200 seats on each bus. Okay, we need to find how many seats are there in total. Okay, so what we need to do is, a school owns 70 buses. We need to highlight 70 because 70 is our consideration. They had 200 seats. That means for each bus there would be 200 seats. Then 70 buses would have 70 multiplied by 200. So what we do is, total seats, right, should be equals to the number of buses multiplied by seats. So how many buses were there? There were 70 buses times the number of seats. How many seats were there? There were 200 seats per bus. So what we need to do is, we need to multiply 70 by 200. But before doing so, what we need to do is, we need to count the number of zeros. In total, there are 3 zeros. Okay. So what we do is, we multiply 7 times 2. And we know that 7 times 2 is, okay, good. It is 14. And since it had 3 zeros over here, we add 3 zeros over here. Simply add the 3 zeros. So we can say that there are 14,000 seats on the buses, right? Okay, great. Let's look at the next question, the question number 2, and let's try to do another example. Okay. The next question says, a souvenir factory puts, I'll just copy the question so that we would be able to do more. Okay. A souvenir factory, the question is here. Okay. A souvenir factory puts 3,000 souvenir keychains in each crate. What we need to understand is, it's saying each. That means every crate has 3,000 keychains, right? How many keychains will there be in 2 crates? That means 1 crate is 3,000. 2 crates would be 3,000 times 2. Agreed? But let's look at the working. So we need to find total keychains, right? Keychains. That would be equal to keychains in a crate. How many were there? There were 3,000, right? Into number of crates. That would be times 2. So what we need to see is we need to see the number of zeros over here. How many numbers of zeros do we have? In total, we have 3 zeros, right? That would mean 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And we add the 3 zeros over here. That means 3 zeros. That means the total is 6,000. And we write the answer as the factory will put 6,000 keychains in 2 crates. What, right? Moving on to the next question. Question number 3. Let's look at what they're asking us. When you click onto the next, you can see the same question on the screen. Okay, on your own screen. Let's copy the next question. The cafeteria at the summer camp. I'll just copy the question on the screen so that we know exactly what we are doing. Okay. The question says the cafeteria at a summer camp has 100 tables. Okay. So it has 100 tables. Each table seats 4 campers. How many campers can eat in the cafeteria at the same time? So that means there are 100 tables and each table there are 4 people on it, right? 4 campers. So that means we need to find the total. We need to find the total number of campers, right? So what we do is the number of tables times seats. How many tables were there? There were 100 tables times there were 4 seats per camper. How many zeros are there? If you count the zeros, there are 2 zeros. Okay. And we know that 1 multiplied by 4 is 1 times 4 is 4. And we put down the 2 zeros as it is. That means the total 400 campers can eat in the cafeteria, right? Cafeteria at the same time, right? So once we are done with this, let's try another question. Okay, the next question would be when we click onto the next, we find the next question. And the next question is, okay, let's bring it down. Copy it and paste it. Okay, the next question says, the question number 4 is saying that Brendan did sit-ups for 20 days in a row. Okay. So he was working out for 20 days, but for every day he did 20 sit-ups per day. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to multiply the number of days by the number of sit-ups he did in one day. So what the question they're asking us is how many sit-ups did Brendan do? So we can say total sit-ups, right? Would be days, number of days multiplied by sit-ups. So how many days were there? There were 20 days times how many sit-ups were there? There were 20 sit-ups per day. Counting the number of zeros, 1 and 2. That means there are 2 zeros. Agreed? So since we have 2 zeros now, so we multiply the numbers together. We know that 2 times 2 or 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. And we have 2 zeros over here, so we put 2 zeros. The answer is Brendan did 400 sit-ups. Okay. Okay, I hope we agree on this. Let's see. Okay, any questions? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, the next question says, I'll just copy the question and then we'll read the question together. Okay, question number 5. The question number 5 says, a game show has 8 categories. Okay, how many points are there in total, right? A game show has 8 categories. There are 200 points in each category. They want us to tell us them how many points are there in total in the game show. In total, right? Points in total. So total points, we can say total points would be equal to the number of categories times the number of points. 8 categories multiplied by 200, right? So we need to multiply 8 by 2. But before that, we need to count the number of zeros. We know that there are 2 zeros, right? So 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. And we put 2 zeros over here. Since it had 2 zeros, it becomes 1600, right? So we can say that there are 1600 total points on the game show, right? Agreed? Let's move to the next question. The next question says, a gum factory makes 2000 sticks per day. And how much would they make in 9 days? Okay, so let's do this. Let's try this question. How many sticks would they make in, okay, 9 days? Okay, question number 6. A gum factory makes 2000 sticks of gum per day. How many sticks of the gum would factory make in 9 days? So we need to find total gum sticks, right? So the total gum sticks would be per day production multiplied by the number of days. So how many gums were there in each day? There were 2000 sticks per day, and we had to find it for 9 days. So how many zeros are there? How many zeros can we see? We can see 3 zeros, right? That means 2 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18 with 3 zeros. That means the factory will make 18,000 sticks of gum. Okay. Moving further, let's look at one more question. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Granola bars. Let's try a question from the test. Okay. Let's look at the options and let's see what our answers are. And let's try to find the answers. Okay. Okay. Just a minute, please. Multiplication. Okay, the test. Let's do the test. It's loading. You can click as well. We'll have the same questions on our screen. Okay. The same question. The gum factory makes 2,000 sticks of gum per day. How many sticks of gum will the factory make in 9 days? We know that 2,000 multiplied by 9, right? We just did this question. It's exactly the same question. There are two options, 18,000 and 1680. So what should be the correct? I think 18,000 should be the correct. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Oh, we just did Brendan question. If Brendan did 20 sit-ups for 20 days and he did, that would be 20 times 20 is 400, right? Let's find a question. Okay. The same question is, I'll just copy the question and then we'll have a better view of better understanding. The game show has 8 categories. There are 200 points in each category, right? So let's see what exactly will be our answer. Okay, this is the question given over here. And we just did this question over here. That would be 8 categories, 200 points. That means 8 multiplied by 200. 8 times 2 is 16. And there were 2 zeros. That means 1600. So we put on 1600, right? That means 1600 is the correct answer. Okay. Last year, 7 people. Let's do this question. Okay, let's see what are the two options over here. If we would do this, and this is the second question over here. Last year, 7 people each paid. There were 7 people. Okay, there were 7 people. 7 people paid $300 for an insurance package. How much did they pay in total, right? So in order to find the total, we see how much one person paid. They paid dollars 300. And how many people were there? There were 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. But we need to remember how many zeros were there. There were 2 zeros. We simply put 2 zeros. That means they paid a total of dollars 22,100. So this would be a correct answer. Okay. So you have the remaining questions. You can practice the remaining questions and see what you learned in the lesson today. Okay. And if there is some problem, just go through the lesson again so that the problems would end, right? Best of luck. Thank you so much.